Welcome back to another BS Free MD, episode 126, a special recording, Doctales and Cocktails, where we talk on all things crazy, including Too Fat to Show Genitals case of trans woman cleared of indecent exposure. Special episode brought to you by Tim.
Trans woman cleared of flashing her penis at 3 women using Ohio YMCA after judge ruled she's too fat for her genitals to be visible.
In recent years, there's been a rise in what is known as woke culture, a culture that promotes social justice, tolerance, and equality. While these values are important and should be celebrated, it is important to remember that there are victims in any situation and they should not be ignored. This is especially true when it comes to the case of Darren Glines, a trans woman who's cleared of charges of flashing her penis at 3 women in an Ohio YMCA. The case of Darren Glines is a perfect example of how victims can be forgotten in the midst of this woke culture. Glines' lawyers argued that their gut was too large for their penis to be exposed, and the judge agreed. Go figure. This meant that Glines was cleared of all charges, despite the fact that 3 juveniles were present during the incident. Brace yourself for a wild adventure as we unravel the scandal, and we also embark on a mind-blowing journey of grounding where electrifying benefits and mental clarity await your curious soul. We hope you join us for this Doctales rerun. See you there.
All right, we're live. We're rocking and rolling in the overdrive. Okay, feel free to comment. We don't mind dialogue. This is going to be fun. May is in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and I am...
Well, I'm not in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. I'm in the middle of concrete land, man.
Yeah, which is in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Hawaii is, believe it or not, Hawaii is the furthest inhabited place away from any mainland in the entire world. So when you fly to Hawaii, you best understand where the life jacket is. Because if there's a problem, you're getting wet.
Okay, I'm trying to fix my sound because it's not right, Tim. So just
your sound is really not good.
You didn't give me a chance to connect my earbuds here. So you can keep talking and tell them what we're talking about while I get connected.
Okay, what we're talking about several things. Number 1, how, as a male, can you go into the YMCA women's change room in Ohio and get away with it? There is a secret to that. Number 2, May makes friends with a Hollywood producer, and he asks her out for dinner.
Where do I connect my...
I was not real happy. Number 3, we're going to talk about grounding. So that'll be cool. Number 4, I hate Apple earbuds because they have a mind of their own. I think they are honest-to-God Terminators, and they will become self-aware at some point and blow everyone's head up. Because every time we have somebody with earbuds on, they try to think for you, and they suck. So I don't do that. I plug them in to the little wire hole. That's what I do. You have it figured out yet? You have to touch it, and then you have to... It doesn't make any sense to me. If it doesn't work, just get rid of them. You muted it. Okay. All right. Let's get going. I'm going to wait for her to figure out her electronic stuff. And I'm going to move right on to the first story, which is this one. Trans woman cleared of flashing her penis at 3 women using Ohio YMCA after judge ruled she's too fat for her genitals to be visible. Darren Glines, who now goes by Rachel, was found not guilty of 3 counts of indecent exposure. Okay, hang on here, kids. Let's hit the timeout button. 3 counts. Not 1 count, 3 counts. So this happened repeatedly. The 31-year-old's lawyer claimed that her gut was too large for her penis to be exposed. One of the complaints stated that there were 3 juveniles present during the incident in Xena, the Warrior Princess, Ohio. You cannot make this up. You can't make this up. Her penis. Like, just that line alone should be, I mean, like, head.
What is the world coming to? This is just ridiculous.
Well, it's completely ridiculous. And it gets better as we shall see. Because there is young, beautiful Rachel.
Yeah, well, you can't. Okay, no shaming or anything. The whole thing is just stupid. Like, what kind of an attorney is that says because it was covered with fat, therefore?
Well, I'll get to that in the next slide. But here's the thing.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. So here's the thing, though. Okay. So this person, and again, I don't know him, her, whatever. I can't judge. And in fairness, this person is either a sexual deviant that wants to change in the woman's bathroom, or mentally ill, or both. And the fact that you get away with this, and it isn't just dealt with, hey, this person is off the Gaussian chart on, mental illness or deviancy, so we'll just deal with it. And it actually becomes a story. It actually goes to court, and the judge actually sides with the lawyers.
No way.
He's too fat to have exposed his genitals, so it doesn't matter. Well, what if he's just a sex pervert?
No.
I mean, come on, man.
You know what that means? From now on, anybody that's too fat to show their genitals gets to walk around naked. You could be drunk in public. You could be naked and exposed in public, and as long as people can't see you're drunk because your fat's hanging over it.
If your belly eats the twigs and berries, it's time to cut the carbs.
That's just like setting this precedent that it's just going to unravel. What the heck?
Well, no, it's crazy, insane world. So here, look at this.
Okay.
I got to put my glasses on to read this because it's amazing.
Yeah, you got to read it to us because it's
Gaines
so tiny.
Lawyers, Lauren and Kira Deaver, both argued that she was so fat that her gut would obscure her genitalia. It's unfortunate, not only for her, I can't read it past my camera, that these charges ever occurred. So they're arguing that the charges should have never occurred because A, Darren is identifying as Rachel, and B, Rachel Darren is so fat that his gut ate the twigs and berries.
It's unfortunate that these charges occurred. How about it's unfortunate that everybody gets to look at that?
Well, but here's the problem. Here's the problem with all of this woke nonsense. And it's summed up in a very simple concept. What about the victims? Like, what about the little girl that has to see the fat man in there? Like, let's assume the best for Darren. That Darren is actually just a disturbed person that we shouldn't be making fun of, etc. And I'm 100% willing to do that. Okay, but why is it the deviant, this is clearly deviant behavior? Why does the court side with that and not with the however many women and children that are like, young girls? Why isn't that where we side? Why don't we side with that? Why do we have to side with the fringe people?
Well, it's
like that's what I don't understand.
That's what's happening everywhere. Like, I watched something on the news and they were talking not just about what's her name, Thomas the swimmer, but some young girls came out. It was in court or at a hearing, and they said that, like, has anyone ever asked us, the majority of girls that are in the locker room with these people, if we're comfortable with this? It's always about what the exception to the norm is, if they're comfortable. What about like the standard American female? Are you comfortable with it? No, they don't care about that. All they want to do is appease the small minority. No, you have to stop this.
The exception is not the rule. The exception is the exception. That's the part that completely.
So, I mean, as much as this is funny, and stupid, then it just gets me cranky about the whole scenario, and then it just makes me want to drink my cocktail more. So
Correct.
I don't know. Let's
It gets better. It gets
move
better
on.
because the only thing I thought of when I saw this was Jabba the Hutt. Because Jabba's genitalia are obviously obscured. And I'm sorry I misgendered. It's actually Jabba the Slut.
Oh.
Ooh, was that too much?
No, you're just looking at Carrie Fisher.
These are actually technically wax figurines.
That's what you're looking at. You're just looking at Princess Leia.
Wow, appropriately named.
Funny.
All right, sister. Where do you want to go next? Where are we going next?
Moving on. Okay, well, everybody, where I am is healthy, happy Honolulu, Hawaii. Yes, I'm in the big city because I love it. I love Waikiki Beach. It's one of my favorite. Maui's too boring for me because we lived in the country. I like the city, mostly because I like the beach, and I plop myself at the village here and sometimes never move. But I am having a blast. Our daughter's here, and I'm here working and R&R for the next, I don't know, 18 to 20 days. So Tim and I have had these split vacations, which we talked about before. And so we passed each other by 2 days. And it's the longest we're going to be apart for since before we were married. But anyway, I'm here. And I got a little story to tell you about the other night. I don't normally hang out at bars by myself, but it's a vacation club, tropical place. I thought I'll go downstairs and grab some dinner. And actually, the only place I could get into was at the Tapa bar.
What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah. Hey, I sat down. There's an Asian couple on my right, and there was a young 20-something girl on my left. And there's a chair in between, and I'm like, perfect spot for me. Sat down, and I started chatting with the girl. She was super nice, and she was here on her own vacation, getting away from DC, where it's a rat race, and she's in politics, and she's 29 years old, and that was kind of a fun conversation. She was trying to stay awake, shall we say, because of the 6-hour time difference. But lo and behold, on the other side of her sauntered in a gentleman who looked to be in his early 60s, with a Hawaiian shirt, sat down, and he just started talking to her right away while I was talking to her. But he joined the conversation, and we all three of us started talking. And basically, she left after a little while, and him and I kept chatting because he moved over, and he's a very friendly guy. He is a special effects coordinator for all of the films done in Hawaii, including Hawaii Five-0, NCIS Hawaii. Currently, they're making the new Stitch movie here, and he's done all pretty much. If it happens here, he's the special effects guy that's filmed anything here, and he lives. Actually, they have apartments here, which I knew about, where people live. So they put him up there in these apartments. He's talking about how much tax they have to pay to live in these things. He's based out of LA. So he's talking about all the stunts and cool things and showing me some video. They making this cake slide off a table and getting the scenes right and all the complicated logistics and how long their days are. And I thought of our podcast episode that is coming out this next week. We are repurposing because we're on vacation, and we are putting out the one on Eddie Bauer, talking about risk.
Eddie Braun.
Oh, sorry, not Bauer. Eddie Braun, my bad. You're right. Eddie Braun, who was a stuntman. And I thought, maybe they know each other, Hollywood and all. So I asked, and of course, he started laughing. He said, how do you know Eddie Braun? Of course I know Eddie Braun. We're like best friends. We work together all the time on all these projects. I message him almost every day, every other day. So he started to text him right away. And he was like, who do I say? How do you know? So I was trying to show him from the podcast and I said, I'm sure he'll remember us. You just tell him who it was. So we had a really good time talking for a couple of hours, and I learned all about cool stunts and fun things that they do here. We talked about all kinds of stuff. He said he was a happily married guy of 31 years, just, like myself. And after the bartender, who knows him well because the guy lives here practically, had poured him his, I don't know, 10th shot of Hendrix in this massive cup. He asked, what kind of food I liked, and then wanted to know where we were going for dinner the next night, at which point I get super uncomfortable with that because like I said, I should have said, like I did on the other chat we were having on Instagram before this, I literally showed up with no makeup on. My face was breaking out super bad because of so many things. My hormones, I got those all messed up. Don't try to doctor yourself. Stress, as well as this new stupid MAC. Don't use the MAC moisturizing cream that smells really good. It blew up my face, I think. So anyway, I had these zits, and I'm like, I don't really care. But like my girlfriend Heather says, we don't put makeup on to look good for guys. They don't care. We put makeup on for other women. And I think she's right, because the guy asked me out anyway. So I don't know if it was a friendly ask, but it was very uncomfortable. So at that point I said, yeah, we're not doing that. And I need to go to bed. Good night. And I left. I need to come up with a good line, because it seems to be happening everywhere I go.
You got to pull the Mike Pence, which is, I don't spend any time alone with another woman other than my wife. That's it. Period. I'll never be tempted. You can't be tempted if you don't put yourself in a situation to be tempted.
No, that's a good line.
If you're an alcoholic and you live in Iran and never go to the bar, you can't drink. But anyway, here's the other thing about this guy. His name.
Okay. So yes. Oh yeah, I forgot. Now that we're sharing his name, the fun story is that his name is John Hardigan, and he told me that he did Sin City with Bruce Willis, if you've seen the movie, and that Bruce Willis stole his name to use as the character. And Bruce said, I'm making an action figure. So John Hardigan, the special effects director, has his own action figure that doesn't look like him. That looks like Bruce Willis. So that is a fun fact. There you go.
Why would you want to date an action figure when you're married to a garden gnome?
So
just saying.
He'd say it wasn't a date, it was just dinner. But you know what? I hate that, because I'm not used to getting asked out. And so, yeah, you're right. I need to come up with my lines, my mode of escape. Anyway, on that note, I guess what I was drinking at the bar, Tim, and what I'm now drinking tonight.
You're drinking Pod and Ocean vodka. That's my guess.
Very good. Okay. So Ocean vodka, I discovered it years ago here it's made in Hawaii on Maui. I texted our friend Jen, who's there right now. Jen, if you watch this, go to the tour. I've never been to the tour of the distillery. So Ocean is available in the mainland USA in this beautiful bottle that sits on edge, and it is made from sugarcane.
Your bottle is much too small.
This is the mini size.
That's the child's menu. That's when you order a shot like Ocean vodka cocktail off the child's menu. That's what they give you. So you have to finish the coloring book to make sure you're sober.
It's made from organic sugarcane. I usually drink my drinks straight on the rocks with lime, and it is so smooth. I love it. It is like the top it is, I think, still my favorite vodkas. And today, since I'm being Hawaiian, I'm drinking with Pog. And if you don't know what Pog juice is, it's passion, orange, and guava mixed together. You can get it anywhere. And it is, to me, it just tastes like juice right now. So there you go. Pog juice and Ocean. Check it out. I know where we live in the little old Willamette Valley, they have Ocean everywhere. A big one, a medium-sized one is about $40, I believe, and a giant one is 60-ish. So
for a half gallon,
the biggest one here is $65. So
yeah, but you're in Hawaii. It's taxed like insane psychopaths.
Yeah, I can't remember. We haven't bought one in a while.
But if you get a half gallon of that, it's still in the round bottle. So like you're literally carrying a cannonball around. You're carrying a cannonball of happiness.
So I would love for them to sponsor us. Desiree, Go Tag, Ocean. And there you go.
Yes.
There's
Exactly.
another next week, because I will be here still, and maybe I'll try to jump in from another location around here. I will feature a new beverage from Hawaii, and I'll let you guess
Oh,
what.
I know what it's going to be, and I have absolutely no idea how to pronounce it.
I might surprise you.
They
Anyway,
have way too many M's, H's, and vowels.
yeah, they sure do. So just sound like a.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, next story. Here we go. Add to stream. Boom. FDA approves first of its kind pill that contains human poop and fights deadly gut infection responsible for the death of 30,000 Americans a year. No
Yes.
shit.
Okay. This makes.
Capsule called, I got to put my glasses on, Voust.
Voust.
That sounds like very
Voust.
German. Voust. You shall take your Voust. You shall eat the shit of Voust.
That is a
Works by
weird
getting
name.
good bacteria into sick patients, but has a hefty price tag of $1,500 per pill. You know what? I can eat shit for free, actually, because I went kiteboarding for the last 2 weeks and I ate tons of shit for free. Different, but yes, for C. diff.
And dogs eat
that.
it for free too.
Yeah, $1,500 a pill. Holy shite!
Literally. So
As they say.
I'm excited to get Sabine back on our show, Dr. Hazen, to talk about this,
Yes.
and see what she thinks, because I know she was saying that some of the quality isn't there compared to doing the transplants into the
Well, it
cecum.
won't be a transplant because a transplant they actually check the donor to make sure that it has the biodiversity that you need.
No,
But
I
you
want to know.
understand that they don't need to check the donor because, as you will see in this slide,
Yeah.
they took it from the South Park episode where Tom Brady has a vault of wine and his perfect poop.
Oh my gosh,
So
that's
if you
funny.
want Tom Brady poop, you can get Voust. And I'm sitting there going, why did they call it Voust? They should have called it Puzak.
Exactly. Here, I'm gonna
Or
move
Shitacillin.
me over a little bit.
I mean, Shitacillin is an amazing name. Like,
So
honestly, I think I might trademark that one. That's just
Jamie wants to know C. diff.
yes.
I'm wondering if
That's
she
the
knows
only indication.
Yeah. So
$1,500 a pill for C. diff. And actually,
okay, wait. Stop, Tim. I think they want to know what C. diff is. C. diff means Clostridium difficile. It's the name of the bacteria overgrowth in the colon that occurs when people take usually antibiotics that they shouldn't, and it kills off the healthy bacteria that keeps C. difficile at bay. So think of when we give antibiotics to people and they get yeast infections, especially women. It overgrows. So this is a bacteria that's normally in your gut that does something healthy on a regular basis in low levels. But when you take a Z-Pack, when you shouldn't, when you take, it's usually penicillins and strong antibiotics like augmentin or clindamycin, which a lot of, I will say, mid-levels like to give to people. That's heavy duty antibiotic, and it seems to cause an overgrowth of C. diff. So be careful when someone just wants to throw clindamycin at your way. It's
yes.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. No. That's. Yeah. I don't know.
Yes.
I would be less.
Oh, Jamie.
As far as the
I wonder,
but
Jamie. Well, I would say a lot of them, because they don't know, they haven't had the training. There's some doctors that do it too. Not all.
yeah, there's lots of doctors that do it. The other one is fluoroquinolones. What is that?
Levaquin.
Moxifloxacin or whatever it is. That's like,
yeah.
There's a couple drugs that kill everything. That's not good. It's not good. You don't want the Marine Corps kill them all, let God sort them out. That's not good. You only want to kill the bad things, not the good things. Friendly fire still kills you. And there's friendly fire antibiotics. They kill absolutely everything. And they are really dangerous.
Right. So yes, unfortunately, that's horrible. And then the antibiotics you have to take to kill the C. diff is horrible, and then trying to get all your healthy gut bacteria to regrow. It's a process. So I just want a good marine, says Tina. I love it. So
Hoorah.
I would love to have Sabine, Dr. Hazen on. We'll have to get her and talk about this. Be a great episode, I think. Maybe she'd come on a Doctales and talk about it. That'll be fun.
Well, it is really, I mean, if this gets sorted out, like whoever sorts it out, I mean, Sabine's working on this. I'm sure there's obviously there's other people working on it because we got approval of, like, this is literally human poo. You are eating human poo.
Yeah, it's just dehydrated poo.
This is not a probiotic where they cultured. This is made from human poo.
Correct.
And we have gone to Dr. Hazen's lab in Ventura, California, and she has gigantic freezers.
Vaults of poo.
Vaults, minus 90 degrees of literally the most pristine Tom Brady perfect crap that has the perfect microbiome. Yep. And she's trying to figure out how to make this something where you can potentially, transplant it, whatever. I don't know. I think
pretty cool.
I mean, I think that honestly, this may be the next step in microbiology, infectious disease, because I think we've reached what I call maximum germ theory. We thought that every germ needs to be killed when it doesn't. Only the bad germs need to be killed. And we've sterilized our world to the point of chronic disease. I believe that that's the case. I may be wrong, but I think that that's the case. Way too many antibiotics.
All this hand sanitizers up the wazoo, and too many antibiotics and washing. I mean, you want to be clean, but you don't want to be sterile.
Right? That is the perfect way to say that. You want to be clean, but you don't want to be sterile. Exactly. That is exactly it.
That's play in the dirt.
Exactly it. I like my men clean, but not sterile. Right, May? Not me. You.
And if you don't stay clean, you will become sterile.
Well, I took care of that problem.
Men or women.
When our son was born, and you said, we're having no more kids, and I will permanently cut you off unless you cut your vases.
And I said, I did cut you off until you got your vases. Sorry, I keep moving out of the sun because I'm starting to bake here. So, yes.
All right. What are we talking about next? One more story.
I want to talk about grounding. Okay, grounding / earthing. It's also called earthing.
Let's get to the video.
Are you playing a video? There you go.
Getting back in touch with the earth.
That's me. Getting in touch with the earth.
Can't complain about that view.
Look at that view right there. Sunset on Waikiki Beach. Gotta love that. So, alrighty, that's the perfect example of grounding because, as Dr. Mercola would say, the best way to do grounding is to be in the ocean, where the ocean meets the earth, because salt water is saline, like in our body. And water conducts electricity better than just air or ground. So if you can ground into salt water while you're standing on the edge of the earth, that is perfect. So what is grounding? I heard about it a while ago, and I let's go back and say before I even heard about it, I'm like, why do I always feel so much better when I go for a walk on the beach? And it's like, oh, because you're in the sun, you're on vacation,
you're not working.
You're not working. I'd be like, yeah, but you know what? It doesn't hit me the same way when we've been on vacations, different places. When there's something about when my feet are walking along, I'm walking on the beach and the water's lapping over my feet and I'm going for a walk. Something happens and I feel so different. My soul feels different. Then that was 4 years ago. Lo and behold, all this stuff comes out about grounding, and I'm listening to it thinking this is goofy. I've read some books by different people in Mercola, and so I researched it some more, and it's a real phenomenon. It hasn't been studied really well, but basically they've done some research on it, and the gist of it is that grounding is the process of actually your body physically touching the earth, and it has to be through something that's conducts electrons, which is, you know, direct contact with the sand. It can be concrete, it can be grass, it can be in the water, or you can even stand on, I'm trying to think what else that we think of, but it can't be anything sealed. So you can't be on a wood surface. If you're outside and you're laying on a towel on the beach, it's not as good because the towel blocks the conductivity. So surfaces like that are anything sealed concrete, vinyl, this is not the same. And of course, what happens is everybody wears shoes, rubber on the bottom of our feet, so that you're not touching the earth. So you have to have that contact with the ground for it to count. And you can walk with your feet, you can sit, you can lie on the grass, you can touch your palms to the water, to the ground. The best is like lying down flat, obviously, or in the water. There's other ways to do it in your house, and apparently in most homes that were built after 1970 that have perfect grounding, if you touch your hand to the metal around the faucet of the water faucet, and then you're shaving or brushing your teeth, then you're grounding. You do. Also, there's another way in the house. I'm trying to think of it. I think I might have wrote it down. So
if it requires penises and light sockets, I'm completely done with that. That phase of my life is done. Just getting that out in the open right now.
So that was the big thing. Oh, I know. It was that was the main way. There's another way in the plane. So if you're in an airplane, you're not grounded, but they say that if you take your shoes and socks off and touch the metal on the plane, somehow that's better. Anyway, so here's the gist of the grounding. What is it and what happens? So they believe that there is this electrical current in your body that's basically the center that they call like a constant center. And what happens is when you touch the ground, the electrical charges of the earth and the ions then connect to your body and reground this center, which then promotes healing in your immune system and actually helps release free radicals and kill all these things that actually it basically pumps up your antioxidants in your system. So they've tested this with different studies, and the benefits of doing this are that they're showing that it improves sleep quality, that people sleep much better. It reduces actual muscle stiffness in athletes. It decreases chronic pain in people with chronic pain conditions and inflammatory conditions. Inflammation after working out is proven to decrease, speeds wound healing, improves mood significantly in depressed people, actually thins your blood. They've done tests on that, and helps flow of the water throughout your system to improve healing. And so basically, they've done various studies, like one study on massage therapists. They double blinded them, grounded versus not grounded. They have mats they use for that to do the study. And they would compare after doing massages on people. They would do lab tests on their white blood cell count, their creatine kinase, pain levels, their heart rate. They'd measure all kinds of data, subjective data, and found the differences. The Cardiovascular Society actually did some differences in bleeding times and found that people actually bled easier and had thinner blood. They've done some studies on depression and mood that they say 30 minutes barefoot made a significant difference in people's levels of depression. And so pretty much the studies are just beginning on this, and the journals are just coming out, but it's definitely, they've shown it in athletes too, as far as improved recovery.
I have 2 or 3 comments. First of all, this sounds like total woo-woo, like complete.
Now, if you can, if you're measuring with data, the actual difference in platelet counts,
but
creatine kinase.
Yeah, but what's the data? It might be great. It might not be. I haven't looked at the studies. I won't comment on stuff I don't know about. But it sounds very woo-woo. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, though, is everything in medicine is a risk benefit analysis, and there is zero risk to walking barefoot on the beach.
Oh, correct.
So why would you not do this if there's
Well,
potential benefit? Even if the benefit is small, the risk is zero. Okay, so that's a
so I know,
huge deal.
right.
That's
So I was
massive.
gonna say, it sounds woo to you, but there's a lot of research into also because they've done a lot of data on the infrared, near red, far red light from the sun, and that obviously if you're outside in a sunny day, grounding, it's even better because it's taking those rays from the sun, etc. But here's the thing about electrons. I guess they prove and they show that if you're not connected to the earth, that the higher up you go, and there's a lot of the research and stuff I was reading comes from some guys in space studies because they know what happens with astronauts, that for every meter you're off the ground, which is 3.28 feet, you actually develop this 300 volts of charge in your body. So people that are higher up, living in apartments, high rises, second floor, ungrounded levels, actually develop more charge in their body. What happens with astronauts? And then they attribute that to causing more untoward health effects with these negative ions. So grounding reduces that. So you can say what you want that it sounds woo, but they've done studies and with astronaut stuff.
I mean,
I think they're seeing it.
But this is BS free MD, so you have to have the dialogue, right? Like
Of course.
I'm not gonna. I mean, I've called bullshit on stuff for my entire career, and I've changed my mind 180 degrees on tons of it. So I get it. This might be the greatest thing in the world because
Well, I think we should have somebody
free with zero risk. Free and
here's
zero risk is a major deal. Okay, compared
Correct.
to we did a study on 8 mice take the fucking vaccine.
Right.
Right.
Well,
I mean, that's a completely different risk parameter.
They have done, I was going to say, I mean, some of the other stuff that I read briefly about today shows that they'll do medical, actually MRIs and infrared measuring changes in inflammation in the body too, even with 30 minutes with PET scans. So I don't know. Pretty cool. Now,
what happens if does it cure ED if you ground your wiener?
Oh my gosh. This is just
unraveling. I'm just asking for a friend. I'm asking for a friend.
I'm thinking I'm going to just let that sand erode it away. So now, how can you do grounding?
The guy's walking down the beach and there's 2 footprints in a line. I'm like, that is a very well-grounded man. A very well-grounded man.
You're an idiot. How can we do grounding? So all the ways I mentioned, it means going outside barefoot, 30 minutes. But if you can't do that,
but it's not barefoot on the pavement; it's barefoot on the lawn.
No, you can go in the concrete.
Seriously?
Not asphalt. Concrete. Yes, concrete's
counts. Good.
Not sealed asphalt though. Could be concrete. Yep. Because it conducts. So here's the thing. They've of course made things that you could use at home to do grounding. So there's yoga mats that plug in that do grounding, little pads, booties, all different price ranges. So you can sit on these things at home. There's grounding sheets. So we talked about this before. You can put these on your bed. And a company called USA MedBed, and it's an anti-aging bed cover, usamedbed.com, has these fancy things that you plug in, you lay on them. They have silver thread as the conductive material, as well as combining far infrared technology. So while you're sleeping, you can get grounded and get the healing benefits of far infrared. And you know how much I love my infrared that I use at the hyperbaric chamber. I'm thinking, I want this.
Okay, let's try it. But I think that is 100% woo-woo bullshit. I'm sorry. That is fleecing big people with silver sheets.
Well, there's a movie. Okay, so let's tell everybody there's a movie. We need to watch it. It's called The Earthing movie. That's out, the Earthing movie. And it's got some info on it.
But I just saw Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and it was fan-frickin-tastic. I would highly recommend.
If any of our watchers here have done any grounding mats or pads, I want to know about it. Of course, you can get all different kinds, and I think you probably pay for what you get for. So if you buy some cheap crap for $40 on Amazon that comes from the middle of Laos or something. I don't know how well it's going to work compared to getting it from these companies. But
grounding pads? You're not talking feminine hygiene grounding.
No, Pat. They're like they look like giant placemats, and you just put your feet on them while you're sitting at your computer desk all day to get grounded. So
now, do you get ungrounded?
Your ass can sit on it.
So do you get ungrounded with touching computer stuff? Like, do you get charged? Because the idea is to remove the charge. Grounding is removing the charge.
Right. Being away from Earth. So wearing rubberized shoes, not touching the Earth, flying. It's really bad in people that are in the flying profession.
So are pilots like super effed up? Because like there's these guys that fly.
Yes. They say it affects their immune system and their health because of that. Yes.
Yeah, but you know the cure to that is sleeping with flight attendants.
So I was going to say, can you imagine if you are
you never even heard
living on the third? I did.
You ignored,
and I ignored you. People know that.
Slightly rude joke.
Yes. That's why I just tune out.
I need some grounding. It's been 3 weeks. Let's just say that.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, yeah. So
sometimes, honestly, I'm my own best entertainment.
You are your own best entertainment.
It's a gift or a curse. I don't know which.
And I've just learned to ignore you, and everybody else laughs, and then everybody else says,
"Man, it must
so freaking funny." And
it must be fun to be married to him. And then you go, "Yeah, it's super fun." And you've heard the joke the first time.
The jerk
400th time.
Ooh,
it's not good.
To that.
It's less funny. It's strange how things over time become less funny.
Can you get parasites walking barefoot? Rebecca wants to know.
Depends where you walk barefoot.
Yes, you can. Oh man, that was really gross. We had a patient, a young kid, a teenager. They went on, was it a mission trip, or they were in Central America or somewhere in the jungle or something, and he came back with this moving thing in the top of his foot that followed the vein, and it was gross and creepy, and it was a parasite that was in his, it's like a filariasis or something is the name of it, that is actually in the bloodstream. He had a cut on his foot or some open sore, and it burrows in there just like a leech, gets in the bloodstream and travels around. Yes, Tim is such a brat. Yeah, you're lucky you're so cute. Oh, see, now maybe you're getting asked out on a dinner date. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. So, yeah, you can get parasites walking barefoot. Be careful of where you're doing that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't do that in the Amazon jungle trying to ground.
It depends where it is, though, right?
Well, yeah.
My like the perfect parasite is that urine fish.
Oh, that's nasty.
Yes, where it's like you go into the river and you pee in the river, and it's attracted to the like nitrates or whatever in urine, and it's like pointy with barbs, and it just keeps going up your urethra until it can't go any further, and you're in agonizing pain because you peed in the pool.
Pool? You mean the water?
Right, but same difference. You peed in the pool, and now you have urethral fish.
That's nasty.
Stuck in your urethra.
That's just terrible.
Your
terrible
urethra, Franklin. May she rest in peace.
Oh, that's funny. Huh. But speaking of urethra, Franklin, and singers, I watched a really good show on the plane on the way over here, everybody. The Voice, all about the Whitney Houston story, her biopic, whatever you like to say. Check it out. It was really good. The actor, whatever they like to be called, that played her was amazing. I don't know if she sang or they just like dubbed in all the music, but she was really good. So The Voice, totally worth watching. It's a really sad ending, but it's a great story.
Did she have the time of her life? And she never felt like this before. That's sorry.
Not the movie. No,
wrong
movie.
Oh,
wrong movie.
So terrible.
Yes.
Did she believe that the children were the future?
Oh my goodness. No, there's the one she sings about her stupid man, and she's leaving him when she divorces Bobby Brown. So I'm trying to remember the name of that one, and I can't. And
So speaking of movies and airplanes, because we have spent a lot of time on airplanes, and I had to fly from. Okay, I'm gonna solve the debate here. Norfolk is pronounced Norfolk.
not
So,
Norfolk.
no, I think you should pronounce it the way the people that live there pronounce it, and it's Norfolk. If you're really been there for a long time, it's Norfolk.
Norfolk.
Norfolk. So
Okay.
I had to fly from Norfolk to JFK and then to Seattle and then to Eugene. So the flight from New York City to Seattle was like brutality, but it was good. I had great people next to me. It was very about as good
How
as you
long was that flight?
Not bad. It was just under 6 hours. So
Oh, our
going
daughter did longer than that.
way longer.
So you can't complain.
No, I can't complain. But I watched Jesus Revolution.
Oh, yes.
And you must watch it. So here's me. I grew up a little bit. I was very young, but I remember kind of the end of the Jesus People movement. You know, Larry Norman, the beginning of the Christian rock scene, etc. And I am sitting there. I'm in the middle seat, okay, for almost 6 hours with great cabin mates. These people are like the chillest people. They're in their own worlds. It was awesome. And I'm like trying not to weep for the entire 2 hours of this movie because it just gutted me like a fish.
Wow. Well, I did.
Unbelievably well done. Super high budget.
Cool.
You know, a lot of Christian movies are kind of, you know, get used to kind of just garbage. This was amazing.
All
And
right.
and very honest to some of the foibles of because these are people. These were not perfect people. They're people. So highly recommend that one.
Okay.
What else did I watch? I don't know. When we were when we were in the Outer Banks with my friends, we went on a Brad Pitt fest and watched a ton of Brad Pitt movies, which is unnerving. When you're in a house with like 4 other men and all you're doing is watching Brad Pitt movies, you're really glad you're sleeping alone. Just saying.
You're funny. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm not a big TV watcher, as you know. So while I'm here, I'm not watching movies. I'm outside. I'm all about connecting to nature, getting grounded, and I'm getting healed from all my ailments. My elbow is doing a little better, but
New Puss in Boots is also fantastic.
Good to
which
know.
I watched
Yes.
whilst on the airplane. Because if I watched that in front of other people, I would be embarrassed because I'm watching Puss in Boots.
Perfect. Well, I think I'm going to get back to my grounding, unless anybody's got any other comments they want to chime in on. Yeah, Hawaii is a nice place to be. I've never been here I can't remember the month of May. The tide is high. The waves are high here on the Waikiki beach. It's amazing and it's very warm.
Tide is high, the waves are high, and the homeless are high. It's the trifecta of Hawaii.
There you go. You're funny. All right. Well, I'll see what other fun stuff I can find out for next week. I'm going to go get my grounding on and hope everybody has a good week. Get some POG and ocean.
Yes, highly recommended.